Hello, hello, everybody. I am Luciana, the Emotional Mastery Coach. I am an ordained Buddhist priest. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the difference between PMS and PMDD. So let's get started. So before we begin, if you are focusing on living a more conscious life and you want to learn more about spirituality, meditation, and emotional mastery, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to the channel and click on that little bell so you can be the first one to get notified about upcoming videos. So I'm creating this video because I want you to have more clarity in understanding what is the difference between the symptoms of PMS, which is premenstrual syndrome, and PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, if you are watching this video, most likely it's because you are wondering about the symptoms because maybe you are experiencing them, or you maybe recently were diagnosed with PMDD and you're trying to get a deeper understanding on it. I was there totally, so that's why I want to make this video because it was hard for me to understand the difference. And I want to explain it to you in a simple way. If you don't know, I myself experienced PMDD, and it's something that has been part of my life for a long, long, long time, and I have been able to manage it successfully. And I feel that every woman out there that experiences PMDD should learn about it, should have resources, should feel supported because it's a very, very difficult thing to go through. That's all I'm going to say. So when it comes to PMS and PMDD, one of the things that's important to explain first is that both of them at the foundation have very similar symptoms. So both of them bring up a lot of physical symptoms. It may be things like headaches, like feeling bloated. And I have a list because there's so many: bloating, tender breast, headaches, muscles or joint aches and pains, fatigue, trouble sleeping, food cravings, and a change in mood. So normally most women, which is actually 75% of women, experience PMS and experience all of the symptoms that I just told you. And it's usually a couple of days before their menstrual cycle begins. And it feels like overall the experience of life feels more sensitive, but also manageable. So it's almost like, the kind of people that say, okay, I know I'm feeling like this because of my cycle, like I'll get over it, and they're able to like move through. The cycle comes or the period comes and they're okay. That is the experience of PMS. And remember that I said at the end that there are changes in mood, but they tend to be, even though they're very present, they tend to be manageable. So that is important to know. Now, when it comes to PMDD, we experience all of the same physical symptoms, but there are certain aspects of PMDD, especially when it comes to the emotional part, that are more severe. PMDD kind of enhances all of your emotional experiences. It can bring a lot of depression to the point where you begin to experience a lot of hopelessness. So it's not just like feeling sad or like you want to cry. It's just a complete sense of hopelessness. Things don't make sense in your life anymore. And this is the main one that I want to mention because this is the one that pushes so many of us to look out for help, because hopelessness can very easily be confused with feeling suicidal. And in reality, many women that experience this are not feeling suicidal. Like they don't want to end their life, but they don't understand why they feel so much hopelessness. Now, PMDD also brings a lot of anxiety. So it's almost feeling constantly at edge, feeling that you're experiencing everything so intensely. And the only way to cope for many of us has been to react. So it's very easy to, because of the anxiety, to feel very, very irritated and to very easily feel enraged and angry. And unfortunately, the emotion of anger is a very destructive emotion that can bring a lot of suffering to our relationships and many other things. Now, another thing with PMDD is that usually the symptoms tend to be so intense that they interfere with your life. They begin to affect your relationships. They begin to affect your career or your job. They begin to affect your health in general, just because of the intensity of the emotions. Now, PMDD for many women tends to come around 14 days to 10 days before they start their menstrual cycle. That is a long time. That is half of the month to be feeling this way. And only 3 to 8% of women experience PMDD. So remember, 75% of women experience PMS, but only 3 to 8% experience PMDD. And it's very obvious that something is off. Now, one of the biggest disadvantages or not even a disadvantage, I don't know what to call it, but the most unfortunate things about this is that it's very hard to find a physician, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or just anybody in the medical field that takes PMDD really serious. A lot of doctors just think it's like, you're just PMSing, like, it's like whatever, or they just don't take it seriously. They just don't care. The treatment available is extremely limited. Now, usually the treatment that a lot of doctors or physicians use right now, it's antidepressants, the SSRI antidepressants, or birth control. Now, what I have witnessed with this is that it works for some women, but not for everybody. There's a lot of women that are experiencing PMDD and they are taking antidepressants and they are on birth control, and they either don't feel better or sometimes it makes the symptoms worse. Now, I can tell you from my personal journey, I decided not to take, I'm very sensitive to birth control, so I decided not to try that route. And I also decided not to try antidepressants, so I could not give you my personal experience with that. But I do know that it does help some women. So it's not something that we should discard, because you never know what it is that may help you. It's so important if you are noticing that 14 days to 10 days before your cycle, the emotions that you're feeling are extremely intense, the depression, the hopelessness, the anxiety, the anger. It's affecting your relationships. It's affecting your job and your career. It's important to reach out for help. It's very, very important to reach out for help, for support. And then after you are walking that route and you are getting help, you can become more and more educated and try different things that may work for you. Now, what I can tell you that personally worked for me, and I was shocked that it did, because I didn't expect it to be simple. And I'm not saying it's like this for everybody. It was just for me. Besides going very, very, very deep into doing emotional work, I find that all women should look out for support or educate themselves in how to manage their emotions. See a therapist, look for help, just to understand ourselves, but doing the deep work, because doctors and physicians, they still don't understand really what causes PMDD. So a lot of the times they think, well, first they were thinking it was a hormonal imbalance. And then they were saying, well, no, it's just that women are sensitive to their own hormones. And then a lot of trials were being done about observing that a lot of women that experience PMDD have very rooted trauma that it's not resolved. So, I mean, I don't hold the answer for that. I don't even know. But what I was going to say is that what helped me at the foundation, doing a lot of emotional work, doing a lot of work of learning to love and accept myself, my emotions, my past, my trauma, any abuse, any abandonment, all of it. This is not like a weekend kind of type of work. We're talking years and years of going deep into what you're really, really feeling and understanding through coping mechanisms, through different techniques to manage the way you feel, to release what doesn't serve you, and to react to life differently. Now, outside of that, for me, it was all about taking the right supplements for the different things that were going on with my body and reducing sugar. So I had read and I mentioned this in another video, but I had read in a Facebook group that all these women with PMDD were saying, like, I'm not eating sugar and I feel better. I had no symptoms. And I was like, there is no way that women are feeling such intense symptoms and then they stop eating sugar and it goes away. Like, it just, for me, it was like, I don't think so. Um, but I was in a very dark place and I was like, I can do that. And I was like, I can stop eating sugar. Let's see if this helps me. And for me, what stopping eating sugar meant was anything that would bring my glucose up. So, I mean, I cut out even fruit, I cut out grains, I cut out everything. And the symptoms like changed so much. I mean, we're talking like almost non-existent, or if it was 14 days of very difficult emotions, it became like maybe 1 or 2 days, which is more manageable and less traumatic for a lifestyle, right? So that is what I did. I'm not saying this is not a video to like try to give you the answer because I don't know. One thing I could encourage you to do is that whatever supports you, motivates you, invites you in when it comes to doing emotional work and going to those places emotionally that you know have been waiting to get your attention, it's time to do that. And especially if you feel that you are experiencing PMDD, even PMS, or you're just a human. Like we all need to do this. And it can be through many methods. I mean, I teach emotional integration, how to observe your emotions through mindfulness. It may be through finally reaching out to a therapist or getting back to your therapist, whatever it may be for you. But I want to remind you the biggest differences between both is the intensity of the emotional reactions and the fact that the anxiety, the hopelessness, the irritability are affecting your personal relationships, your life, and your health at a point where you feel you cannot control it. And then the moment your menstrual cycle begins, or the day you start your period, it just lifts and it goes away. And you're like, whoa, what was that? And then it happens again the next month. So I would encourage you to start tracking your cycles, see where you're standing with that, and then reach out for support or help if you need to. I do have a free masterclass where I teach you a little bit more on how to learn to observe your emotions through mindfulness. If that is something that you would want to do, check it out. It's here on the little bar below. But that is all I have for you today. I would love to hear your experience with PMDD or PMS. You can find me on social media under The Emotional Mastery Coach. And I really hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. I will see you soon.